All right, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time it is when you hear this message, I pray that you're poised to receive, to accept, and to respond to words of wisdom. Ashe. So there's this wonderful overlap that I like to contemplate from time to time. And it's the overlap between artists and priests. What artists and priests have in common, among other things, is that we take ordinary things and we rearrange them, we reorganize them, we repurpose them in order to sometimes create new meaning. But most times it's just to alter our perception so that meaning can become realized in our conscious mind. So there are things that we're aware of unconsciously, or there are things that we sense and experience unconsciously. There are things that we are only vaguely aware of in the distance, and we don't know how to quite articulate it. And the artist, as well as the priest, bring these things into a tangible, they give us words for it. They give us an image for it. Okay. Which is why the best art and the best, let's say, divination or ceremony are the ones that introduce you to something very familiar, but enable you to see it as if it were for the first time. Okay, I'll give you an example from my generation, my time. So I am a part of the hip hop generation, right? That's my generation. We're the hip hop generation. Run DMC, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Fat Five Freddy, Sugar Hill Gang, LL Cool J, all that. That's my era, right? That is my era. And throughout all of the hip hop, repertoire, we got more and more angles on our reality as, urban Black youth. And if it was coming from New York, or if it was coming from Houston, or if it was coming from Los Angeles, or if it was coming from Atlanta or Miami, right? It was all reaffirming things that we knew and were familiar with, but we just had never been able to articulate it in quite that way. Okay. And one of our favorite examples of that, which has become iconic, is even brought into the film, right, of Juice, especially when Tupac played Bishop, right? Tupac brought Bishop to life in such a way that we all believed it. And I think, it has been said that even Tupac himself believed it so much that it altered his perception of himself and thereby changed his approach to everything that he was doing. That's artistry. That's artistry. It wasn't that Bishop was from another planet. It wasn't that Bishop introduced something that was like, blowing our minds like, my God, that was so far out. He was your brother. He was your neighbor. He was your homeboy. He was you. He was somebody that was very familiar. However, Bishop's role, as well as hip hop overall of that era, was teaching us another level. There was a meta lesson of that whole time frame of artistry and creativity, which was revealing to us the ways in which we were victims of a set of circumstances that we inherited and were out of our control. And we were trying and clamoring the best that we could to try to make sense of the madness. But we didn't have the resources. We didn't have the tools. We didn't have the support. We didn't have the guidance. And we just were making it up as we went along. And these are the kinds of calamities that we experienced that were inevitable given that set of circumstances. It's a sad story. Oh, yeah, it's got a banging beat. You know what I'm saying? And the lyrics are ridiculous. Yes, we feel it. But what the lessons are, we're entirely different. You're entirely different, right? When you start to really listen to hip hop with a mature ear, you're hearing all the sorrow, all the pain, all the anguish, all the disappointment, all the betrayal, all the victimization, all the abuse that we just endured as a matter of course. We just normalized, right? But now we're 50 years old. We're 55 years old. We're 60 years old. And so as we've matured, we think about what Muhammad Ali said. Hey, a man who thinks, a man at 50 who thinks the way he did when he was 25 has wasted half of his life. And so now it only makes sense. It's obligatory that those of us who are adults, really adults, we've reached OG status. It's obligatory that we look back upon that time of our lives and we say, hey, this was the real lesson. Those things were not in any way, shape, or form intended to encourage or glorify the anguish and the sorrow and the dysfunction of our lives. Those things are meant to be cautionary tales and to reveal to us, hey, these are the problems that we need to avoid. These are the things that we do not want to perpetuate in our lives and in the lives of our future generations. That's the purpose of the artistry. Okay? Now, the reason why I'm saying this relative to priesthood is because we who are now functioning as priests and priestesses, we're bringing ordinary items and ingredients, and this is particular to Orisa priesthood. Okay, we're taking regular household items. If you know anything about how we do what we do, roots, grasses, bark, water, oil, fruits, vegetables, right? Bones, skin, hair. It's ordinary stuff, but we're putting it together in a way that creates new meaning, or in a way that affirms a meaning that was just beyond a person's ability to articulate. So our spiritual life isn't something that's all far out. No, our spiritual reality and our ancestral awareness is right there. It's just a question of someone being able to put them together in such a way that you can see and materialize something that's just behind your everyday awareness. It's always been there. You can feel it. It's like that dream that you wake up from and you got a sense of what the dream was, but what the exact details of the dream and who said what and what was in this place or that place, it's just a little fuzzy, but you know the feeling and you know the idea and the sentiment of what was being communicated to you through that dream. That's the duty of the priest. Let's bring all that into focus for you. Let's materialize all that so that you can articulate exactly or more or less what it is that you experienced, what it is that you need, what's coming to the surface for you. Let's arrange things in such a way. Let's give you the words. If they're invocations or if they're prayers or if they're affirmations, let's give you the words that will be able to organize your thoughts and your experience in such a way that you understand the context, where you're coming from and where you're going. That's our duty. That's our role. That's our function. However, just like in the hip hop generation of 30 years ago, we are now being called to dramatize this spiritual reality, but we gotta be also aware. This is the challenge of the priest of today. You gotta be aware. You gotta be present with the fact of what you're creating. And what that means is we gotta be able to say, hey, we're not just dramatizing and bringing these things to the forefront for you to say that this is what it is. We're not just keeping it real on a spiritual plane. What we're trying to do is we're bringing out that meta lesson for the community. This is where we are. This is what we're really supposed to be learning right now. These are the lessons that we're supposed to be taking away. This is the wisdom that these stories and these rituals and these ceremonies are enacting for us. Don't just go through the motion. Don't just do the steps. Open your mind, open your heart, open your eyes. Take ownership of where we are and approach this from the perspective of an elder. That's who you are as a priest. It's the difference between a priest and an artist. As a priest, you're an elder. As a priest, you are someone who has the bird's eye view. Going back to Tupac, you're looking at life through your rear view as a priest. But it's the rear view of thousands and thousands of years, of hundreds of generations, and distilling that wisdom into things that make sense for people to say, look, our condition right now is the manifestation of things that have happened before and have happened again and again and again and again and will continue to happen again and again and again. Therefore, this is what needs to happen, right? It is a tradition precisely because it stands the test of time. We're not practicing Orisa lifestyle like artists. It's not anything goes. It's not do what you like. It's not a freestyle fellowship. There are rules, there are structure, there is order. There are systems that are in place. And these systems create all kinds of freedom for you to discover yourself, but you're doing it for a purpose. And the purpose is to align yourself with the original structure. You are trying to bring your present day behavior and awareness into alignment with the ancestral memory, with the ancestral promise. You are intending to conform and put yourself into complete alignment with what the tradition is guiding you and has been guiding you to do for thousands of years. This is so important. This is so important because I see my people every day over and over and over and over. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to dumb this thing down. You're trying to dumb it down. You're trying to water it down. You're trying to say anything goes, anything goes, anything goes. And that's not the goal. If you want to have an anything goes lifestyle and just, be able to freestyle and do it however you want to do, be an artist. Paint pictures, write poetry, dance, sing, sculpt, whatever. But when it comes to the priesthood, you're really, really, really trying to be as creative as you can about conforming, about adhering to the way that it has been done since the beginning of time. Naturally, it's going to be different because we're in a different space and time. But the pattern is what we're seeking to repeat, to master, to replicate. Because the meaning is going to be evident. And you're going to be able to see this continuum of meaning and purpose that goes all the way back to the beginning. Okay? So I'm super excited about delivering this particular lesson to the leaders. And I want to make a call to all of those folks who are determined, who are super ecstatic about changing the world through positive influence. If you're one of those people, then I want you to find out how Oloye Obafemi Origunwan and the Orisa Lifestyle Academy can help you take your practice and your life to the highest level possible. Visit me at obafemio.com or orishalifestyle.com and let's start working together to help you live the medicine that will heal your life and heal the lives of those who you are destined to serve. I look forward to working with you. Bye for now. Odabo.